Hi everybody, it's Kris here from the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. Just to let you know, as always, this podcast is now part of the 90-Minute Football Network and proudly sponsored by www.pt-4-u.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I'm going to start off first of all, any questions, chuck them in the comments, and as always, we will go through as many as possible.
We've got that much content.
Deka, we're keeping you.
Just catching up.
Hello,
with
lads.
these,
Is that right?
catching up with these 2016, 2017.
Yeah, I was fascinated with the retro section. Andy Cole in and all the boys. Venison was in there and lovely strips and that.
Deka has got a Newcastle United program.
So what was the name every week?
It's been there for a while, that one, huh?
It's different, this one. Different.
No, because it's got Tammy Abraham on the back.
Yeah, this is a different one. That one's been there for a while, but did we not change this one?
No,
because you were sat here.
I remember reading that one because it's got Aaron's on the front. I'm sure we drew 1-1 Bristol City.
It's the same one. No, that's Vernon.
No, it's Vernon. It's Vernon.
That one. I was reading that one because we're talking about Tammy
It was
Abraham.
definitely Bristol City. Yeah, it was definitely that one.
Right. Okay.
So
we do have a lot of programs in the studio, and Deka has one in front of him that is Newcastle United from the Championship season, is it?
Rolando Aaron's on the front, isn't it?
Yeah, Rolando Aaron's on the front. And
nice shirt, that.
Besty, maybe you, I'm getting confused. Was it you that mentioned Abraham was on the back of it?
Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah, so I had a conversation about Tammy Abraham, and Deka just looked down and he was actually in the starting line. Subs bench for Bristol City.
He was on loan there, yeah.
Yeah.
At the time he was, wasn't he? Right?
So, speaking about loanies that have now signed for Newcastle United. Besty, it's been a while since we've seen you. My Targett first player through the door at Newcastle United.
I thought about time we did some business, innit?
You had to think about there who it was that would signed on loan.
did.
I seen that momentary panic in your eye.
I'm a Targett eye. It seemed to make sense. It was a strange one because there was a lot of kind of apprehensiveness there last season. People saying, they're not going to get him because they're going to go for this Lodi at Atletico, and that kid from Leverkusen back in January, he was mentioned. And they just, it almost felt as if Targett was kind of, well, thanks, mate, but we're going to move on. But I'm glad they've got him in. They know he's for how Newcastle played towards the end of last season, he's perfect. He gets forward more than Dummett did.
A lot further forward.
But then still is a very capable defender to let Maximin kind of go forward and do whatever he likes.
Do we owe his partner an apology?
It's like a plain spotting thing, and every little every grain of information, people get really involved.
I think we spoke about this at the end of the season, Mark, where Targett's girlfriend had put a post on Instagram saying short but sweet or something similar to that.
She was maybe just talking about him in general.
But it's where did fans get the opinion that comment meant he wasn't going to be signing for the club? It was mental.
It's just
you can see where the logic. I think so. Yeah,
it was a short.
Well, he could have been. Yeah, I mean, 6 months?
Was it 5 months? 5 and a bit. Yeah.
Not even that 4, really, because January till May. So
it's what Bessie said though. People just look into every little thing. Willock was the same.
Yeah,
his was a really, when he left, was a very.
It was like a statement.
It was like, all the best. It's been amazing. Come on, you Maggies. But actually, I'm going back, and I can't wait to get back in the team for Arsenal. And it was literally like.
I think that's the kind of thing. I mean, maybe you haven't got a recent statement, but he's kind of probably thinking at that point, his future isn't. We didn't sign him until quite late in the window, did we? Willock. And he's probably thinking, well, I need to kind of let the Arsenal fans know that I want to play for them. Or let Arteta know. Yeah. So I think a lot of that would have been letting. Maybe he's not thinking he's going to stay at Newcastle. We're going, right, if I stay at Arsenal, I'm fighting for a place. And then he says,
I think probably, in all honesty, probably wanted to stay at Arsenal. He would have been told he was surplus to a requirements and then
come back here and fight relegation again. Like that's what
I mean, let's think where we were
10
months ago. I mean, you wouldn't, a young lad come through the ranks at Arsenal being, I mean, they had a bit of a hit and miss season, but they finished 4th, 5th.
They started poorly, but
fifth,
got a lot better, didn't they?
Then it finished
strongly.
James, and that was kind of the end of the thing, wasn't it? The Champions League and Tottenham pumped Norwich. So I even then to go from a team that's looking at that kind of part of the table and thinking Newcastle is shit, Newcastle are really shit. They've got a dickhead in charge.
It's surprising we even came.
Yeah.
When you think of what we were at that time, surprised he even bothered coming.
And he played the season. You couldn't really say that was that he fell in love with the fans because we played all but one game that season behind closed doors. So maybe he's online. But they became bullies online, so it can't have been that.
No, we were nice to him online because he was scoring goals every week, wasn't he? So he got a lot of the fans on side with that, and he had a decent social.
How do you think he's
social game?
No, yeah. No,
what this season?
The season just gone. How do you think it was? I think it ended up. I'm thinking 6 out of 10.
It started very poorly for me.
Yes,
I think probably the first. I mean, in all honesty, it's probably like a lot of the players that first, like up until October, November, where we couldn't buy a win, and then obviously a lot of things changed. He's just here for the library tonight, isn't he?
I've got left that here actually.
Yeah, and then he had that a bit of a spell where he improved. He still didn't get a great deal of games, obviously, and I think that's due to the fact of how well the rest of the players in midfield were. And once Bruno came into the team, that was it. He was done, wasn't he?
Massively overshadowed. He did start getting in the team and start performing well. But like Mark said, obviously the turnaround from Joe Linton, Bruno coming into the team, even Shelvey keeping him out of the team as well. At times, Shelvey turned everything around as well. And to be fair, was pretty harsh on Joe Willett because he was starting to perform well. But for me, he's had an average season, I would say.
I think that's probably about right.
Yeah.
I thought when he was
six, probably fair.
When he was good, I thought he was very good. I remember years ago sitting in the East Stand. I mean, I'm talking like early noughties now, like maybe even 2000 actually. And there was here's how long ago it was. There was some fellas behind us talking about Christian Becerras.
There's a blast from the past.
One of them guns, that Becerras, that Bacedas. Is he that brilliant or he's shite? The rest of the time he's just all right.
It wasn't Michael Owen sitting giving punditry in the stand there, was it?
Owen-esque and how it drilled into the point, like, is he that brilliant or shite or all right? Fair play, like.
Just covering all bases.
I think we will, if you think of it, how many games they play in a season, would you say maybe 8 to 10 games that he's been okay-ish?
Yeah.
Like, it's not great, really, when you think of it, really. You have to be fair. Like, I mean,
is that we're saying that? But how many chances did he get towards the end of the season? It wasn't many.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like when he started having a little bit of form, then he couldn't get into the team because those that were ahead of him were playing very, very well.
And he's still some of the big moments of the season for me. The win at Brentford, he's got the second goal when Shea put him through. Bruno's header against Leicester, that was him down the wing, brilliant touch to keep it in, and just scampered away from. It was a Pereira, the fullback, put it across, and then bam. It goes. So
him and Murphy linked up pretty well as well because it was both of them. They were mainly having cameo sub appearances and stuff like that, weren't they?
I like Murphy.
So
Murphy's had a good. I wouldn't say he's quite had a redemptive season, but he's definitely kind of. He's surely his stock's higher than it was.
I thought it was higher than Bruce.
Right, really?
Yeah, I thought when he went on Bruce when he put him right wing back, I thought he.
But he always got much better player. Wolves,
yeah,
definitely. I think as a sub, he's kind of
come last season or the season before.
Last season, season before.
Sorry, not the one just finished. The one,
the last Puma season. By kids.
Yeah. It's funny when I think of Murphy, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, really, but when he was through 2-on-1 against Arsenal, that just sums up Murphy for me.
Don't just put it in the net.
Yeah. I'll pass it behind Fraser for some reason, and then I'll get it back now, and just drill it straight the keeper.
I remember watching
just terrible.
That's become a real thing for me. I remember watching England in Euro 2016 against Russia, and they play the ball like just Rooney was still playing, and every pass seemed to be in the Russian kind of half. A yard or two behind the man, so they've got to come back and pick it. And you lose. They think, that's like a professional footballers. Yeah. Like, don't play the ball so you lose momentum. They've got to do. And Murphy, that thing with Fraser, wasn't it? I think against Arsenal at home.
That's the one. Yeah.
It was. Yeah, that's just. It's infuriating because
it's just Murphy. That's just what he is.
That turns a good chance into a kind of right. We're going to play the ball again now.
Yep.
As opposed to. It's not on his left foot as well. Play it across him. Like, here I am.
You find that with
300 games.
A few of our players that when they're given time on the ball to think about what they've got to do in front of goal or when they're going through on it, then that's when it goes to shit.
Murphy, I don't want to become a because I really do, but he's awful for that.
It happened when the Brentford game where I'm sure it was it was Brighton at home. He's played through on the halfway line, 1-on-1, tries to dink the keeper, hits the post and comes back and Fraser scores. We were very lucky there. But again, it's them moments where Murphy is because he's got the pace, of course, he's got the abundances of pace. he's through, he's away. And I have absolutely no confidence whatsoever that'll be a goal.
How many times do you think he hit the post this season?
Murphy.
I can think of at least
There was
three.
a canny few times.
At least three.
I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Well, the
Just
Brighton
all that
one.
Deckers just-
The Brighton one, yeah.
And even then, I would remember that because you said it. If you hadn't said that, nah.
I feel like I remember
he's drilled it.
I
He's
think
bad.
I've switched off for the summer.
We've gone back 3-4 years when Decker used to
I know.
sit and slate him every week.
Why should I even know of that moment? But it just popped in my head, yeah. So yeah. I'm not banging Murphy, yeah. I'm literally not actually.
Wait,
But yeah. Bashing him, so that's a
Allegedly.
better word, isn't it? Probably it's the same meaning, isn't it? Really?
Not much better.
Sounds as bad as out, so yeah.
Why don't you use the word shagging?
Yeah, well, he hits the woodwork enough.
Jesus Christ. I like that one. I like that one.
So. Doesn't get any better.
Right. So, Targett, do you think he was number one on the list, Decker? Do you think he was the player that the club want to bring in as first choice?
I actually do, and I know we've had a debate that maybe they're looking for somebody better. I think he ticks every. Well, first of all, I've always said how massive a fan I am in terms of his performances. I mean, every single week, almost, he's been just tremendous, in my opinion. But when you've had someone and you've seen what he's like within the team, within the squad, how he gets on with the players, what his attitude is like, it just again becomes more and more like a no-brainer. But obviously, I know there's been reports, and we've discussed it, that maybe they were looking for someone even maybe the next level ahead of him. But of course, I don't know the answer to this truly, but I'm just saying my opinion is that I think they had the mindset on him, and if Villa weren't willing to do it, or there was these daft little, remember, these in the no account saying that he doesn't fancy it up here and he's not settling and all this nonsense. If that was true, then of course they'd maybe look at somebody else. But
well, he definitely wasn't signing, was he? That's what we were told.
what about the
We'll discuss ITKs a little bit towards the end of the show, because
Oh,
I think
allowed?
there's already comment. We're allowed to do
Oh,
whatever we
right,
want,
okay.
Decker.
But when you look at like the lack of appreciation,
reason.
is it called it now after the Arsenal game, and Bruno saying, "Oh, he's got to sign full time."
Yeah.
Was that? I know that sounds ridiculous because I've just sort of said his last puts a tweet on him. We shouldn't, on Instagram post on him. We shouldn't react. But when Bruno did that, to me, I'm like, he's staying.
I can't remember ever seeing a player do that before. That, and he's going to sign a contract. Or not, that's not quite what he said, but to infer, like, the club are going to sign him because he's great.
Yeah.
I've never.
It was mint the way he did it as well. When it was like, he's saying, "That's it."
It was nice when obviously the NUFC account tweeted that little snippet of video just before we announced it as well.
See the back and forth when Bruno, it was Targett is our agent Bruno.
Yeah,
and Bruno puts out his emojis. Lads,
in terms of the price we paid for him, do you think that's what he's worth?
I think these days that's a snip, mate.
So what? That 15 million overall.
So if it's, I feel like it's a snip. I feel like it, but then I can't really put a price on what he is. Then, if I think it's a snip,
it's weird because £15 million it's Shearer straight away, and football's that's 27 years ago now, 26 years ago. Football's so different now. The transfer fees, I mean, like Jordan 40 million, whatever. Erling Haaland, how much was he free?
51.
That's
lovely, isn't it?
51. That 51 million pounds is like ridiculous. That's more
Imagine his wages though.
That's more than a lot of football clubs. You probably get changed for something out of that.
But I think it was 51 million for him, and I'm hearing it's 40 to his agent. So like it's 51 million pound for him, if that makes sense.
Then 100 million pound for him, you think?
Yeah, aye.
But it's a weird one, because as I say,
would you say 25 then? Like, because we're saying it snips 15.
I think anything south of 20 is good value.
Yeah,
for
so
him,
like 22, 20, somewhere around there.
You get north of 20, you're looking at how much was Luke at Dean? Was he 25?
He's a canny wedge, like
he was a canny bit.
Yeah. I've got 25 in my head, but I don't know whether or not that. But I think, I don't think it's really right to look at them. He's got Villa fans saying, "Oh, my Targett, he's a waste man," and all that. Carry on, like a 40-year-old man saying, "Waste man here." But like.
He's changed in the last couple of weeks. He hasn't been, hasn't he?
But
a waste man.
I don't know what that means. Sorry, what's that?
A waste, like a.
I saw fan doing
okay,
it, saying Everton are a waste man team years ago.
Just turning it Arsenal
and I'm
fans
just
TV.
like,
Okay, waste man. Okay.
Troops away.
I mean, I'm a waste man.
What I was chatting to someone when I was away the week there, and I said to them, like, £27 million for two really established good fullbacks that we have. It's outrageous when you think of it like that. I'm moving away from Targett necessarily because I'm also talking about chips, of course. But to think you've got both of them for less than 30 million, thank you very much.
Scotty O, Gallowgateshots, Scott says that Villa paid
Every week
30 million for him. Obviously, we brought in Trippier and Targett for less than
less
that.
than
Is it- well, what do we pay for Trippier?
So 27, it was 12
12,
so
yeah.
15
Well,
and
yeah, I
12.
think at the end of the season, like a staying up.
Yeah, there might have been that, but it wasn't a great deal. It was something like 3 or 4. It wasn't like
Yeah, I feel as I've seen something on Twitter, but it's still like it was far less now.
Yeah.
Because you'd imagine you got to pay double that for Trippier and think that's probably not a bad deal, really.
I think it's the bit of an age tax on him as well, though, isn't it?
Possibly, like I think
So-
he's 31, 32, is he now? So he's not going to be here like 10 years, you know. He's not like a.
Oh.
Maybe
But
not on the pitch.
But again, though, he's not staying on as a course thing. Get excited. But in terms of a
Shut you right down.
no, but I mean like
Fuck off, Mark.
He said himself when he came that he
Oh.
wanted to be part of the project and be around the team and all that kind of thing. Then
he's been very good since he's been here. But listen, 2, 3, 4 years down the line when he's retiring, you're not going to be sitting here going, well, probably you might, but we're not going to be going, oh, he's around the dressing room. Christ, will I get Shearer back then if that's the case? Do you know what I mean? Like, have him around the dressing room. Like, no, man. Like, it's just them days. When he's gone, he's gone.
If he's a good coach, I mean, like,
That's it.
you do get some good level pros that are going to be decent coaches. You get some that shite. You know what I mean? You never know.
we've got
I
Steve
suppose you never
Hawker
know.
and Sholami. Hope he's sitting
Exactly.
there bloody employed.
Shite. Get rid of them, man. You need.
Well, I don't know if you know, Deka, but Steve Harper is an internationally rated coach. Yeah, A class,
Take care.
E-class, like the eggs.
A class.
like a Mercedes.
I was gonna
What does that
say,
mean? Basically, just passed the course.
Yeah.
All the courses.
All the course.
All the courses.
You've already ate them all. But no, like as I go back, the point is like you're talking what less than 30 for them 2 fullbacks is amazing. And I said this for ages now, and I'll say it again. You're on that step, that building step, aren't you? Of like what as I go back to Man City, they're bringing players like James Milner. They brought in. They're bringing Given, who was a canny age at the time. Some of the ones I'm can't remember. Lescott rings a bell. Gareth Barry is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Players that were, 30, getting towards 30, but I would say been there and done it's a bit strong, but certainly they've got the experience of the league. Trippier's obviously been around, and you accept the age that they are, and you keep them for 2 or 3 years and go, right, great, thanks, you've established them now at this level,
Yeah.
and now we'll move on to the next one.
It worked better for Man City than it did Portsmouth and QPR.
At Portsmouth, Redknapp, the weren't they? You just
Aye.
spent everything that was this. Right, I'm away, lads. Yes,
Yeah.
Adams.
Yeah.
Speaking of ex-coaches, that
Got old Canu up front. Man.
Aye. I mean, they spent money that wasn't there, didn't they? QPR did the same thing. And like Jose Bosingwa and Cherno Samba, Kris Samba.
Chris Samba.
Yeah.
Cherno
He was
Samba
got
him
£1
back
million
from,
a week or something, wasn't he?
He came back from Russia, didn't he?
from Angie McCackler. But that Lord Remy, they poached him off us. Loads of players like that. Well, they didn't have the money where it looks like we've got a couple of partners spend here. Like,
I've got a few quid, like.
Well, according to Twitter tonight, people don't believe so. After this Botman carry on. Just
Right.
pay the extra $6 million
It's
for the
mad,
richest club in the world.
and it's I kind of get that argument a little bit, but then if they do that, if they say right, there's 45 million for Botman off the top of your head, and that's because I know it's comfortably more than what they seem to be asking for. Right, there's somebody just fuck off. Like every club in the world's gonna go like plus 10 million for Newcastle.
Yeah.
So yeah, so if you have been living under a rock for the last 2-3 weeks, Sven Botman, it's on, it's off. He hates Newcastle United. He wants to go to AC Milan. He's scared to cross bridges at one point. It's how many times have we heard that this deal is on, then it's off, then it's on? Is that just everybody coming out the woodwork, Bestie?
It's just shit. Honestly, mate.
And
it's
if you
just
throw
load of-
enough of it,
it's
Tell
a
what
load of
Bessie what
rubbish.
you really feel.
tell how it
It's
Bestie.
a load of rubbish. It's people.
The angrier he gets, the further that way.
It's because I'm conscious and I'm very loud. You see, it's people who want.
If you move this, look.
I'm speaking to Marks. No, it's people who want clicks on their websites and so on. And it's not just ITK. It's like the papers are as bad for it. I stopped following the Chronicles Newcastle page maybe 6 months ago now because it's just rubbish. Like he has 5 things we learned from.
Evening, Lee.
I think no, it's not a journalist.
It's not them. They're forced
It's not
to do
like
it.
Mark was still there. Mark Douglas was still there when I did it, and I like Mark a lot. He's a good lad as well. And it's not the writers' fault. It's run by Trinity Mirror, and it's all the Birmingham Mail and there's a
We had a chat.
It's not the local papers.
We had a chat with Mark Douglas and Chris Waugh, and he was there as well after
Chris
the
was
after
there,
media day, a handful of years back now.
Mark was great on you.
Aye, and we
Mark's a
said
really good lad, like, aye.
we're saying like, what is the crack? Why is it like constant, basically shite that's going on? And they said though, it's because we have to
Almost
fill it.
like targets to hit, really, of like, we'll have to get X amount.
Advertisement revenue, isn't it? That's the.
Also, you go on the website, you click on that. That is a disaster.
I tried to go on it the other day,
Rubbish.
and
Disaster.
my phone could not go
Yeah.
with it.
So,
It's just
lads,
hell on there.
spoiler
You're
alert:
getting hot in your hand in that.
if you want to avoid having all of those multiple clicks on the Evening Chronicle website and all of the adverts popping up,
Read
go
someone
on.
else.
download the app. Then you don't get them.
Oh, do you not?
Thing is, though, if you click on a link on Twitter, it doesn't go to the app. It opens in the Twitter's native browser, and it's
There
just
you go,
rubbish.
Bestie, lad.
Yeah, but then
Yeah,
it
I think
comes,
it's the
comes
same.
up along the top of your iPhone open app.
Well, I don't know. It's been that long since I tried reading Chronicle, but it's rubbish. The only reason I've read the Chronicle or the football coverage for ages now is towards the end of last season when I did the little predictor, because I think that's quite good. I think I had us staying up just, but it's garbage. The whole the Botman thing, the etiquette. I forget which way.
Hugo.
And that all of it's just rubbish to try and drive up like traffic. I just ignore it.
I think
people sign when they sign. There's no point in worrying about it.
like back in the day, you'd look at the papers, wouldn't you? Like, I'm going back in the day. I'm talking now.
Oh,
So,
But that's why you've got to have adverts on the websites because nobody buys papers these
I'm
days.
well aware of that. I understand that, but you can position them a bit better than what the Chronicle do. It's like a blind man's done it, man. But like back in the day, you'd have maybe 5-6 sources of information that you would maybe pick up and read or talk about. Now you've got, I mean, anyone really is saying they're a journalist and they're doing this for a freelance media group or whatever it may be. So that the amount of shit that's getting stirred is unbelievable. And then you've got the actual bullshitters who are people sitting eating cornflakes having a wank, and they're putting in going, I heard this today from me sources.
Working in KFC.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't. Like,
it's the liar.
and then that's just another thing that gets through on top of the pile of shit. And all of a sudden, you've got a big pile of shit.
No context. Is it 2 mil time with it? And it's basically every time someone goes against what they've said, there's a screen grab. Here's what's happened. Here's what you said. It's like, what was it led by donkeys that did the thing with Tory with Brexit and all that?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's not just liars.
Yeah. And you can,
it's weird.
I'm muting as much as I can, like, you know what I mean? Because I've stopped going on because it just does me. Because as soon as I go on, bang, it's something there, and it's more bullshit.
I think even away from that, I hate the IT.
I don't want to say any names because I don't want to get wrong.
Well, I'll say one. I don't care, right? There is one, and he appears on my timeline quite a lot, and his name is Rudy Galletti. Okay. In his bio, it says sport editor, TV opinionist. It mentions a few other things, expert, Sky Sports, blah, 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 blah. The Insider, right? If I go into the DMs, which have been sent by him to the Gallowgateshots account, I'll show you, Deka.
Oh, God.
So
it
is just link upon link to his tweets of transfer ITK.
Mm-hmm.
Not once have I retweeted it, because if a so-called journalist and somebody that has these sources is asking for a retweet from this account, they haven't got a clue what's going on.
Yeah. No,
and he's not the only one. There's other ones that do the same sort of thing. Can you retweet this? Can you retweet that? Why? Why do you want me to retweet it? Just for popularity content?
There's certain ones that set up YouTube channels and go on other YouTube channels as well to spread their propaganda.
You're looking at me, Mark.
Disappearing off to the.
There's some other ones on there that are mental, and it's the amount of people that believe them as well, though. Actually, physically, there's one. Honest to God, I don't follow him. It's a drone, right, with like a hat on or something. Like it was gone years ago. Indy something.
Indy Kaya, that's the that's the KFC guy.
Aye, because my mate Daz always has a go at him all the time, and he like now, man, like every time he'll comment, and he's saying things like that. Like, I
wonder if he still works in KFC.
We've been offered like 10 million for offices and things like that, and I don't know if they accept it, or then it'll be like, I've been doing this and I've found out this information, which is like it's unbelievably like just bullshit. And there's so many people going, "Oh, have you heard anything about Man United signings?" I'm like, "Oh, he doesn't know, man. He doesn't know."
I probably should have mentioned what I did earlier, but there's loads of them that are like Newcastle ones. That and you'll know them. Yeah, I'm not going to say them.
I know. I was tempted to say one actually before.
There's loads of me. Think like, just why do you follow? Why do you continue?
Name for a football? Did you say that? That's how I was going to get into it.
Localism for football, and it's like, why do you continue? They're proven liars.
Yeah.
Why do you? I don't.
Do you know what baffles me? Is the following that they get.
Exactly. Yeah.
I know. It's mad.
Like they offer nothing apart from little snippets that they picked up from other journalists, with eye emojis.
That's
Other
the
journalists infers that they are journalists too. These are just fucking kids who are talking shit for attention, basically.
The worrying thing, mate. Some of them are kids.
To be fair, the four of us sit here and talk shit for attention.
I know, but don't like it. No.
No, but we're not sat here like claiming we know what's going on. Me and Deka were talking about this, but before you got here, I think Mark, you were out of the room, and people just come to do a podcast, and you probably get it as well. Like your mates will say, "Oh, like you heard anything about this?" And no, why would I have heard anything about anything?
It was a takeover quite a bit.
Yeah,
that's what's happened with the takeover.
That's because you're mates with Taylor, and Taylor's mates with George. That's what it is.
but all
They work together.
Also with these accounts, when something does happen, so it might be Dan Ashworth, for example. I'm just throwing one out there. These accounts will be like, "Oh yeah, I told you that at Friday at 11 a.m. I told you this that was going to happen," and you're like, "Aye, but the newspaper told us like the day before that." You know what I mean? You're not. It's just mad. It's just mad. And as I say, people. The problem is as well, though, is a lot of people really do genuinely believe it, and then that starts the cycle of shit, really, and it's just annoying.
It's horrendous. The thing that baffles me that two of our owners actually follow some of these accounts.
Oh my God, I know.
What?
Do you think they're just having a laugh on them?
Oh, they're laughing there.
Imagine like on the way down the train, they're going, "Look at this idiot here," you know, because they kind of be following them because they believe in what they're saying.
So Tobias says, do other clubs have this problem?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Oh yeah, it's not. I don't think it's unique to us. Like
I was having a chat with Paul Senior. You might have seen Liverpool fan.
And yeah, no, Paul.
Yeah. Well,
I didn't see. No, I didn't see the chat.
All right, so Paul is a Liverpool podcaster. He does the Anfield Wrap.
Yep.
And he commented on something, and I said, "Oh, do you have the same problem as what we have? Are people like following family Instagram accounts, tracking planes and stuff like that?" And I was like,
whoa! We're the plane spotting
well,
champions of the world, yeah.
Then we start sending pictures of bridges as well to these players that are linked with the club.
that's a bit crap. I like that bridge stuff.
They probably send the
wasn't.
live
At
birds.
first it wasn't.
At first it wasn't. I think now it's developed into people having a laugh. But first the bridges, people were deadly serious saying, "Oh, look, this view and stuff like that." Like,
do you know, in Liverpool, they send the statue of Ken Dodd in the train station. And
live birds are top buildings, isn't that?
aye.
Is there an echo in here?
What?
That's literally what I just said.
Did you? Kendall building.
Live birds.
Oh, did you? Oh.
Yeah, I didn't hear you say that. Honestly, I didn't. I genuinely didn't hear him say that. Sorry, there.
But yeah, I think every other club will have this section of the fan base as well.
I also think that the the more successful or perhaps bigger the club that you are, be even worse. Do you know what I mean? Like it'll just be even bigger. I can't imagine like MK Dons having this unbelievable ITK.
Well, you look at some of the whoppers that
no disrespect
follow Man United
fans.
Oh no, every disrespect MK Dons.
Don't you know why them even came
Disgrace.
here?
They're disgrace.
But you know what I mean? Like as you see in Liverpool, guy, and imagine just the amount of shite, man, that must go on. But we're just as bad. In fairness, we're terrible. Because when I go on now. Sorry, it tends to be almost anything I see about Newcastle is from one of them type of accounts.
Yeah,
really.
There's
And
an
I just don't know.
easy solution to this problem. It's called the block or the mute button.
I know, but you
fucking
still there's so many of them, man.
you get people talking about it. And
Aye.
just waiting your TL.
That's the thing.
He's gone all
I don't know.
all new.
TL.
I'm trying to think.
Hell.
I've been watching Stranger Things, so they don't talk like that.
Have you finished it?
It's in the 80s.
No, I only started watching it like a week ago.
Oh, really?
Like
All
from
right.
season, but I've
Top
got
Boy, is that what
3
you're
episodes
watching?
left?
Is that what it's called?
Oh,
Top Boy,
classic.
yeah,
Have you
could
watched
be.
Top Boy?
No.
Could be watching Top Boy.
I've not.
Or Power.
I think I've heard of
Power's
Ghost.
good. Like Power's
Is
good.
that about Phil Taylor?
Imagine Ghost is actually Phil Taylor.
Come on, Boris.
But I'm right in the Stranger Things.
It's fantastic, man.
Brilliant. Like, it's
Really
really,
good.
really good.
No spoilers because I've
Yeah,
had to
but-
start it right from the
I
start.
don't remember in Stranger Things when they talk like some South London teenager. Do you
No,
remember?
yeah, no, it's true. No,
I must have
what
missed
he's
that
saying.
episode.
no, Hopper when he's he's on about waste man and I don't want to give anything away because I've literally just started watching it myself. I've like, kind
Yeah,
of,
so
I've totally binged it.
I
Like that.
got up halfway through season 2, and I've got a bit bored of it. Season 2, so I've had to go right back to the start just to refresh my memory.
Season 2, the last, I was nearly crying. I was like, it's just lush. It's such a nice little.
We apologise for anyone that's
Yeah, but no, that's
I
not
don't
really
think
bad.
we've
That's
given
all
it
right.
away.
That's all
I
right.
love it. I've got banging.
It's amazing.
Like,
It's amazing.
Brilliant.
Get it, and it's aye, that's good, mate. That's good.
Back on July the 1st.
So
That's why I'm watching it. That's why, Chris. That's why I'm watching it. I'm binging it because I'm going to Glastonbury next week. And then it's like, come back. I'm not going to have that many nights left to get where I want to be ready for it coming back. So I'm just trying to watch them all.
Are you watching with your lass or just on your own?
On my own, my lass. She's not reading that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
She'll be watching Love Island instead.
Oh,
Move on.
It's time to move on.
We've had a couple of members tonight, so thanks to Paul Clark, who is the latest one. Thank you very much, mate. If you do become a member, anybody else, you do get instant access to the Telegram group, which is basically similar, very WhatsApp, very similar to that. And there is currently 130 people in there, if I remember right. Despite it being the off season, it's still constant.
There's a lot going on in there, right?
Constant.
I've got a confession to make.
You haven't checked.
I've become a bit of a Deka over. I've just realised I haven't been in there for a little while.
We're not really promoting this very well when nobody checks it, like. But I'm always.
I had to mute it because it was killing me battery on my phone.
Well, I think that's what I've done. I muted it when I went on holiday, and then I've never unmuted it.
I still like to make a point of checking in every now and then. Like,
Yeah, I've only got 3,000.
All right, okay.
only got 3,000.
That's quite good, that.
Marco, what's
You must have accidentally clicked into it one day and cleared it.
I've got
11,000 or just 11?
11.
All right, that's okay.
I've still got less than Deka.
Besty isn't on your screen anymore, Paul, because he just keeps on moving out.
Sorry, Paul.
You'll scooch back in.
It's Snyder.
The badge, Jesus.
So the best way to... Did you just say 3,000? How many do you have, sorry?
Just over 2,000.
Oh,
2-1.
So yeah, the best way to avoid the likes of ITK accounts, which definitely aren't ITK, in the know, is just block them. You don't even see them if you block them.
Someone pumped.
Or join the Telegram group, and then you don't even need to go on like Twitter or social media, because everybody just talks in there about good stuff, good Newcastle chat.
You just know that some wank at work that was going to come on and go, you seen this? And it'll be one of them accounts. I've seen on Twitter. You're not coming.
Who you talking about?
I don't see any names on here. I don't see any names on here. But the dude.
Hi, Gareth.
No, I guess I wouldn't. Well, he probably would look at it like, but the dude, they're like, oh, I've seen this. Am I going to sign Maldini? We're not, mate. It's not going to happen.
You're a decent coach.
So back to Botman. Okay. Mark, is it happening? Yes or no?
It's the same as last week, isn't it? If Milan can reach agreement with Lille on a fee, he is 100% going to Milan over Newcastle.
Okay.
So what's it going to happen? Milan
aren't meeting that fee. So if ours is accepted, it's down to him. And if that's the only choice that he's got, then he's going to come.
It's mad, isn't it? The thing, like Milan, AC Milan, who've just won the league.
Yep. Champions League football.
Milan.
Serie A.
Can't afford to buy a player that week. And it's not, Newcastle got all this money now. The Premier League, they probably struggle to compete with, like, I don't know, like a Bournemouth or Brentford, someone who's, just come back up. But it's just fucking mad.
It's not the richest league over there.
I think
it's the name. Like, and that's why what we sat and discussed last week. If somebody offers you the opportunity to go and play for AC Milan,
in the
you jump at it.
Kind of play in the San Siro and that, and like it's just mad.
Before it gets knocked down.
Yeah, that's happening, isn't it? They're moving for too long.
I don't think we will, and I think that's more player related. Actually, I don't think the player is particularly.
It could come to a point where we just sack him off because it's taken too long and move on to another target.
I think
2 targets.
Imagine that. It'd get dead confusing, wouldn't it? You'd definitely have to call one of them targets.
Target and Colombo at the back.
Target and Colombo.
I think we will sign him. I think he'll probably drag on another week, but I think we'll sign him.
There's no hurry, is there? The season doesn't start until August. Yes, we want to get him in, obviously, for pre-season training, but you've got until July for that anyway.
Early July, isn't it?
You've got 2 or 3 weeks to get things sorted out.
There's no hurry, though, but the club might have wasted a lot of time on this one. And if it happens on the next one, then the next one.
Well, they worked on it in January, didn't they? And had it all agreed then.
So was in January, man. He was from Goose. He doesn't need this.
You don't know if they haven't already moved on or they are looking at their players, because obviously I know we're seeing this one name constantly on every single source, if you like. They might be looking at somebody else, but I agree that there has to come a point where you go, do you know what it is actually?
Yeah,
enough's enough. You can't just keep going forever.
There'll be a take and a leave it point, won't there?
There might be we've done this before. Oh, no, I'm not saying that, but we have done it where, do you know where we have our limit of we're not going any higher than this, and we'll completely walk away and do whatever I've got to do, and then we'll try and go back towards the end of the window and go, do you know, is that offer still there?
Did it in January?
I
think Willick was like that as well. We said, yes, well,
just leave it on the table.
Yeah.
Leave it on the table. Here's the offer. take it or leave it, and then go. And then, as I say, if it doesn't happen, it'll come to a point where we have to move on, and you go to who's your next option on the list.
You've got to 100%. And I also will say, it sounds if be believe these reports, it's incredibly similar to January, isn't it? With we're 130. We're actually we're 135, and now we've went another 6 million. And to me, like, you just can't be made a fool of, like, in these situations.
No,
like.
exactly.
Even though people could say, well, you paid 25 million for Wood, like, he's not worth 25 million.
There's needs must at the time, wasn't it?
Pay what you've got to pay to get the player you want. There is part of us that believes that as well, but at the same token, I'm not convinced that he was really that bothered about coming. And that could be true. I don't know the guy, right?
I don't know if he's any good.
I don't know either.
Like him, like,
yeah, everyone seems to like him, but for me, he seems to want to go to Milan, and I do not blame him at all for that.
And I think it's at the point now where the club just need to go, right, that's the bid. You've got this amount of time to finalise what's going to happen.
According to Luke, that's what they've done. They've said
really good.
An amount, I forget, 30, 35 million, whatever it is.
I think it was 30, and then they were saying they want 36.
Yeah.
So I think
which is still less than what they were quoting in January.
Well,
it was like 40, 45, wasn't it?
But you would expect that, though, because they didn't want to lose him mid-season. Like, I always understand January is going to be more because of what it is, unless the player's not in favour at the time. But yeah, I think we're set with stall out. We'll tell them what we're going to pay. Milan clearly, I don't think it's not that they don't want to do it; they just can't. Yeah. I don't think financially they can.
Yeah.
So
they'll need to clear some people off the book, get a bit of money in,
is that man still
and then
there?
go from there.
He must be on good whack. I'm sure he is. That Giroud as well, didn't he?
Was it not his last season when they won the league? Was he not leaving at that point? I think
I'm not too sure.
I think he might have been leaving, and he left as the king of Italy and all that because he won the league and all that awful jazz. Yeah, it's awful.
Another one that's constantly linked is Bruno's mate, Paqueta.
Not happening.
Is it?
Absolutely not.
I don't expect it will. No, I don't think so.
And I'm not overly bothered by that one, if I'm being honest with you.
I like the idea, but
it's not a position we really need. Maybe if you wanted to play right wing, which is a position that we've said we maybe need to look to strengthen, or that holding creative midfielder a little bit deep lying. But
it just reminds me of we wanted to sign Almiron's mate so they could do that celebration together. That's it.
That's all it is.
Madness.
It's his best mate. He's had loads of photos with him, 2 and 2 together, and coming up with 5.
Yeah.
All right. Next one. This one is from James. We're just going back over, but James says, "Who is the player you look back on and think actually he wasn't that bad?" He says his was Mike Williamson.
Oh.
I'll tell you who yours was.
I'll tell you who mine was. Mine was. I've said this.
Get ready for this.
So I had an unnatural hatred for Johan Gouffran.
You did.
I just didn't like him
Every single week.
Yeah, I didn't like him. Then I think once he left, obviously looking back at the goals he scored, and obviously
so many goals.
What was happening at the club at the time, and stuff like that, I just thought maybe it wasn't that bad because we bought him for pennies as well. Like, let's remember, it was it 500 grand or something like that? It was next to nothing. We paid for him. Mark, I'm going to answer yours for you. Perez.
Nah.
What?
Nah. He only started playing in January every season, man.
Every season. No, that's a bad thing, then, is it?
He's only good every season.
I don't know. I'll have to.
That's what Carragher does, doesn't he? Carragher does a.
Of course.
It's not the one I want to say, but Danny Simpson's up there for me.
There's a couple of shouts in the comments for Danny Simpson, to be fair.
Yeah.
I have all right.
He was influential in that season.
100%, aye.
Very much so. Yeah.
I've got a
promotion season, the first season back.
I've got like favourites who weren't actually good either, but I just like
I've got
Ben Arthur.
No, because I like Obertan, me. I thought
he was
Obertan
terrible.
No, but I thought he went through a spell of about.
He had a decent little run, didn't he?
Yeah, maybe
in the
Europe amount of games is what I had. He was good, and he I remember he got injured at Liverpool, didn't he? Everyone actually applauded because he had actually been on a decent run.
Yeah, so he got injured at home. Park. Yeah. And the thing I remember about this, and I don't know why, is they carried him around the long way to get off the field. It was like ridiculous. The side that he went off was towards the Leazes.
Was it the east? It was at the east stand, like over that, and then they walked right the way around.
East stand, and they went past the east stand, past the Gallowgate, and in that way.
Yeah, can remember it's not quite the same thing, but remember CC warming up.
Aye, when he ran,
He
it,
ran
ran
to
up and then
Gallowgate.
up the.
Oh,
Jesus, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Shola had to go and get him.
Took about 20 minutes to get
Aye.
What was he thinking there? Because he obviously came from the German league, but you don't do that in the German
I
league
know, I don't
either.
understand.
There's a lot of continental clubs where they do go, but it's normally because
Does
they've got like a running track or a bit of space behind the goal, and they'll go and go there, won't it?
It wasn't Frankfurt, was it?
Germany was in, Hanover.
I was Hanover because I saw that on my stag do, I saw Leverkusen play them, and it was like people there with CC shirts on and stuff like that. Like, it was like, oh, he plays for us.
I think that thing with Gouffran as well, when he gets to the tunnel, the steps that go down the tunnel, and I'm sure he had to get off the stretcher and he walked down the steps.
Overtime, you mean?
Sorry, overtime, yeah. I think he had to get to the stretcher and walk down the steps anyway.
I honestly, I can't remember that. I just remember going back to Mark's point about the Europa League. He had a decent few games in there. We beat Man City away in the cup when we really shouldn't have. But
Aaron scored.
Yeah, Aaron scored. He had a great game then,
Minutes,
and that's when the Obertan song came about for me anyway. First time I heard it, and I absolutely loved it. It just wasn't very good at all. But
who's yours, Bestie?
I don't know. I'm kind of a bit like Deka, and I kind of generally like the players to do well. So a player that wasn't as bad as I thought, pretty called Dalo actually.
Really?
No, because he was shit.
I was going to say, like, it was only last week you were slagging him off.
He's a really good stopper. He's probably as good a stopper as we've had, given that was apart from given. But it's just the rest of his game. So no, not Dalo after all. Mark Viduka.
Right, okay.
No, he was crap.
He scored some goals. He scored so many goals.
He did, but he was still crap.
And he wasn't. But he wasn't as crap as you remember.
Could you argue Michael Owen?
Owen was great
because he gets stick because obviously what happened. You're not playing.
Couldn't possibly say Michael Owen,
but he scored a few goals.
He scored a hat trick at West Ham. He scored a couple against Sunday.
Double against Sunday.
2-1 will be 2-0. Sunday scored them both, didn't
he? He scored some goals. Owen, I tell you.
I could be wrong.
Was he got a few?
It was like 1-2, wasn't he? His record.
Pretty much.
I can't remember how many games he played.
He couldn't be, even when Keegan was there, actually, with Viduka and Martins. He kind of played behind them. It's more of a kind of.
I did, yeah.
And it worked because his pace was gone a bit.
It's gone, yeah.
And it worked really well.
Yeah, it did.
And then it was a relegation season that really soured him because that was when he couldn't be asked anymore. Well, he wanted to get fit for the World Cup, didn't he? That was a thing in 2006. Got injured at Spurs on like New Year's Day. And he said, I want to get fit for the World Cup. I was like, well, hang on a second, mate. And that's when people started kind of like, he doesn't care about us. He's down at the races in Cheshire and that. And then obviously the relegation season, when I'm not going to bother playing because I want to get a move and brought a brochure out. But as a player,
he played 71 games and scored 26 goals. So it
wasn't
quite, was it? Sorry, I was a bit wrong. I thought it was 60 and 30.
What a relegation and that as well. Although he didn't really play that often that season. But yeah, he was captain for a bit, wasn't he? Not team captain, but he was our captain.
Jeremy was captain, wasn't he?
Jeremy did Alan Smith.
I still remember how buzzing I was when we signed him the day we actually announced him. I couldn't believe what I got him like.
Jeremy as well. I've got one.
I'm thinking. I was half thinking Alessandro Pistoni.
Right.
I remember he was starting to come good, then got injured at Sunderland.
Yeah.
Like broke.
Did he go to Everton after us?
Did all right at Everton.
Yeah.
I tell you what I'm thinking. In my head, his career ended pretty much immediately. This one game at St James's, but he ended up playing a bit more and doing all right. Casapa.
Oh, Casapa. Yeah.
Casapa, in my memory, got before one of home reports where he got pulled off after 20 odd minutes.
He scored a screamer.
He
played a few more games afterwards. He did all right. Not brilliant, but I mean, he was Leon's captain. He wasn't a bad footballer.
So we'll go through a couple of the players that have in the comments. Danny Guthrie.
Oh, shout and a half.
So that's from Daryl.
What a shout that is.
Guthrie was all right.
No, he really was.
Keegan Buse, Mehdi Abid.
Abid was tidy. He was a tidy player.
When I see that silver kit, that's who I think of.
Yeah, he was a tidy player.
Right,
didn't get much of a chance, really, did he?
Not too much, no.
Darren Ambrose, Patrick Kluivert.
Would you chuck Santon in there?
I was going to, but I think everyone liked him though, didn't they?
Leon Best.
He was mint.
Best was the greatest.
Perchino.
Perch had a right turnaround, didn't he?
There's a redemption story.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Danny Guthrie's an unbelievable shout for me. He was good, him, you know.
Goose.
For some reason, he just wasn't the level we thought he should be.
Aye.
Gosling was a decent player. He doesn't really get a...
What a weird when Guthrie shaved his head.
Aye.
He's at red and was like, fuck no.
Oh, shit, aye. It was on Soccer Saturday or something. I seen. I was like, what the hell's that? And he was decent, him. Like.
And Keegan Buse, another couple of players, Mbemba and Yanga Mbiwa. To be honest, I think they were just at the club at the wrong time.
I think so as well.
I always like
Mbemba
chances of me.
And Mbemba was a weird one where we got relegated. And I thought, oh, this could be his, because the previous relegation, like Colaccini, Jose Enrique, Gutierrez, Carroll, really came into their own that season. When I thought, Mbemba's clearly a good defender, he'll be all right here. Played Wolves at home. I think it was Shelby that got sent off at the racism thing.
Allegedly.
And
Couscous.
and that was the one And Mbemba was absolutely appalling. Like he couldn't not give the ball away.
Wolves, did you say?
Wolves at home.
Oh, Wolves at home, man.
I mean, we played them in the league.
He down tools a bit, didn't he?
We played in the League Cup as well. Wolves. This was the Tsar played, and he was a competition winner. He was hopeless.
The story that always stands out in my head, and it's off the field sort of stuff, was Mbemba first signed. He was staying in Hilton, and there was 2 taxis outside, and he got in the taxi. It took him to Asda. He couldn't speak a word of English. And the taxi driver took him to Asda.
He turned up. Remember, he turned up as a tuxedo as well.
Him and
Tovan.
Tovan. Oh.
Yeah.
You know that one, Tovan, Cabela. I mean, they weren't.
It's just it like it
should have
shows
been better.
about the club again, doesn't it? Who was manager at the time? McLaren.
For
So when Mbemba and Tovan were there.
Mbemba was Pardew. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
was he?
And Mbemba played that game at White Hart Lane.
Was Tovan not McLaren though?
No, that's right. That was Young Ambua.
Right.
Yes, it was. Beg pardon, both
Right.
McLaren.
So I get the idea of making the players look smart when they come into the St James's Park on a match day, but at least get them some sort of matching attire, like
Club suit.
Aye,
yeah.
and like when those 2 were rocking up in the tuxedos,
It was.
what's
Yeah.
going on?
That's amazing.
It didn't bother me. I thought
it was funny.
Like,
I
It was
like it,
funny.
you can see why. Like,
I remember people were having a go of it, saying, "Oh, it'll poison the dressing room and it'll be about it." I mean, what the hell? Like they're having a bit of a laugh and they're coming in the tux. Like, what's? I don't understand how that can go wrong. Like, really? They're going to hate them because they've got a tuxedo on.
What was Scott Parker? Not a tuxedo.
I was going to say Scott Parker actually. Nicky Butt. I was thinking.
him,
I was thinking Alan Smith, Nicky Butt, and Scott Parker were the 3 in my mind. Thinking of players that. Damien Duff. I remember when we signed him. You know, I was absolutely buzzing, and he wasn't.
No, I never. It didn't
Just
work.
didn't work, did it? Just didn't work.
You would have done well. The champ. He scored that first game of the season, didn't he?
Stephen Ireland. He was a terrible one. He came with a bit of reputation, and it was just awful for
I
us.
think Ireland had only signed for Villa that year, that season, because he played at St James's first game. His debut was the 6-0. Maybe his second game, but I was you know one that was weird. Sol Campbell, Chip Kikuchi signed that year. It was such a strange season. Now looking back on it now, like with 10 to 11 years kind of distance. Like Sol Campbell played for Newcastle and he was terrible.
It was awful.
He was rubbish.
Awful.
He's just a fat Tory now.
He got a wife out of it though.
I think he was already married. It was a Barrett Holmes.
Oh yeah, and I think that's one of the reasons why. Yeah,
because he went to Notts County when Sven was there, then went back to Arsenal. Like then his season was just mad. His career, big part.
He turned like a lorry, didn't he?
I remember
just so slow,
when
man.
Emery played for Newcastle. He scored that free kick against Sunderland.
Oh, aye.
And I stood in the
Beautiful.
club shop, top
My
off,
favourite goal, that.
getting the Emery 3 in the back of my shirt, XXL shirt, Emery, and it looked tight. It was like basically shoulders at the top. You know when FIFA get their sizes wrong for names and just like that. And I remember Sol Campbell. I forget which game it was now. It was St James's. And we were defending the corner. He turned out the number 5 was that number 5. this tiny. It looked like it's because he was that broad. He's huge. Just look. Remember when he was looking dead fat in pre-season? Oh no, it's just the way they training gear because it's the pattern making him look fat.
Aye.
Like Homer Simpson.
I can remember the photos of Sol Campbell.
Remember when Sol Campbell in pre-season?
There's another one that looked massive in them as well.
Me.
No, there's another player. Was it Guthrie? No.
In that training kit?
Aye. The black and grey one you talking about?
Yeah.
And there's a black and grey one. There's a blue one. Similar patterns. And
Yeah.
there was another player that looked massive in it. It was Ben Offer there at the time.
Same time as
Ben
He
Offer.
just
looked
just
away
signed
sometimes,
late in that window. 'Cause
he was quite thin when he signed, wasn't he?
I'm trying to think who else it could be. Well, Carroll. Carroll's never-
Marlon Harewood was always a.
He was never.
I liked him.
I like
A
him.
filler.
Oh, yeah.
I liked Haywood.
It's still, you know, when that feels mad, that fits all Marlon here with that championship season. Like, they just got the players that got
One
the job
size?
done.
Yeah.
Fits all, yeah.
Fits all, bloody hell. Aye.
He was in for a
Fabrice
show as
Pancras.
well. With somebody.
I like fits all. Wayne Routledge I liked as well.
So a question here from Callum Lewis that says, now that Darwin Núñez is off to Liverpool, who do we look at for a striker? Obviously, Besty mentions Ekiteke earlier, Hugo. Is he going to be starting?
I can see it Your old Graham taking
here
away.
he goes again.
Here we go. There's two names going to come out of his mouth.
There's one. 2 words.
Ruben Neves.
We'll go to Besty then, because
He's a
Besty,
striker.
this is your moment.
Antonio.
He's a striker.
This is your moment. Tell everybody why we should sign this player that you're going to mention.
Why we should sign Mikel? I don't even know if we should, to be honest with you.
He had a
Mikel
poor
Antonio,
season, didn't he,
I
last
just
year?
really like him. He's kind of, he tailed off a little bit last season after after autumn, which is really early in the season actually, towards at the end of 2021. But he's quick, he's strong, he's clever, he's a good finisher.
Good mates with Callum Wilson.
I really like him, and I hadn't realised how old he was. That's the thing with me, because I thought, he started banging goals in at West Ham a couple of years ago. I thought, I like this kid. Who's this? This hot young thing, this young buck. And 31, I'm going, what? So I love him, and there's part of it's kind of like the Paqueta thing. Well, I've wanted him to sign that long. I just want him to sign. Ruben Neves, I genuinely think is a fantastic footballer. Yeah. He's going to go Man U, only by the looks of things. But Mikel Antonio, remember a few weeks ago, maybe the last time I was on actually, when we were talking about if you could have 2 Callum Wilsons, one for when he was fit and one to replace when he's injured, Mikel Antonio's that man.
Mm-hmm.
He thought he was a winger as well for a long time, but he's very much in the Callum Wilson mold.
It's going to be a canny wage between the two of them. For paying half a season.
Well, we're just not paying to do podcasts anymore, because apparently that was a bit of a thing, wasn't it? That's why.
Oh, really? The money on there for them.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, bring him in. Bring him home. Bring Mikel Antonio.
There seems a little bit of a debate in the comments at the minute about Everton's Calvert-Lewin. A couple of people saying that stay clear of him. I don't understand why.
Injuries. Maybe
it was only last season, and it was a bad injury.
I suppose Haaland had a shocking injury record last season as well. So no, I get that. Yeah, I would take him.
With him is when he said that the cells stank.
Oh, his breath.
Remember that he started doing that. You fucking cheeky little bastard. I'll take him. I like him.
Yeah, I don't get the like
English player tax.
You're obsessed with
prone.
that, aren't you? It's not our money, man. It's not your money. You're still a bit to pay the bills, man.
I'm still being conscious about being taken for a ride.
I'll take Richarlison.
Find me one.
Of the Spurs, apparently.
Is that right? See, they signed Fraser Forster.
Yeah.
Oh, weird.
Sorry, I missed that.
Sorry.
Did you see Ericsson there? I missed that.
No, it wasn't mentioned.
Oh, sorry, I just thought because you mentioned Tottenham, I'd heard he may be going back there actually as well. Yeah, I would splash the boat and get Lewandowski.
He's available.
Chance you're wrong. He's going to pass.
Is he going to pass?
Hang on. Hey, he hasn't signed yet. I've got any money.
I know. I seen somebody yesterday saying they need 500 million.
They did a thing last year, didn't they? Where they signed somebody, I forget who it was now, and this is that. But in order that one of the reasons it's so messy was to get this lad. I forget who it was.
Oh God, who was it?
I don't know how much are we. I can't remember now.
The comments will be going wild now. Trying to tell me.
What was the question? Case people didn't hear.
Who Barcelona wanted to buy last season, in order to be able to afford him, they had to sell Messi, give Messi away, basically.
It did, because he went and signed there, even though they didn't have any money.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Oh, they done a full announcement and everything. Didn't they?
And then they couldn't actually announce him. Well, they did it.
Come on, comments, catch up and tell us.
What's his face? From City.
From City.
Man City, the Barca.
Aguero.
Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah, could have been Kris.
Oh, bless him. And then
that went well for him.
God, yeah.
Actually, people are saying Ferran Torres.
Torres.
That's who it was.
Torres. Yeah.
I remember Aguero.
Did Aguero go there?
No, he did.
Did he?
Then he had his
didn't he?
That's it.
Lasted like 5 minutes, bless him, and then
That's a one.
I played again. Like, playing 5-a-side picture. I saw it, but still, good player Torres. Like
Tammy Abraham's the one for me.
Well,
if you get the way we sat and said the same last week, didn't we?
I like Abraham.
You've got
what about that English tax?
English duck.
Be getting from
Ireland.
You get him from Italy.
He's with Derry City.
Why is he in Ireland?
He's on his holidays.
Hey, I tell you,
popped over to Dublin. Did you see that? That's why he's so expensive. His fee keeps doubling.
That daft meme or like thing that going on where they're doing the open bus tour, obviously of winning the cup, you know.
Aye.
And Mourinho's like waving in that, and they're like, "God, that's amazing for Mourinho," but the stadium looks a wreck. But it's the Coliseum behind them. I thought it was my humour. That was dead funny. But no, he's never going to leave there, is he, due to the fact of how successful he's been over there. And He's a great player. He really is a great player. And I've wanted him every time. It looked like he was going to leave Chelsea because then Villa got involved. I remember, and
he was alone at Swansea, wasn't he? While before,
he just seems to have been everywhere, trying to to make the grade, if you like.
I really like seeing young English players go abroad as well. I've got a proper I always think it's staying in England and sitting on a bench for someone feels like it's like a safe move. Whereas going and doing something totally different. I mean, there's
a few over in Italy as well that went over last season.
Chris Smalling, but he's at Roma, wasn't he? Chris Smalling, is he still there?
Yes.
Venezia took a couple as well.
Did they?
I'd read some before he went over to Italy. Actually, some reports like I think it was like Italian media basically saying like don't come because of the racism, like the abuse he may face. And that absolutely adore him over there. Of course, because he's scoring goals. It's always, but they absolutely love him, like, which again, I love that story as well. That he's,
it's linked with certain clubs over there, though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Well, I think we had this discussion last week or the week before, and the question was, who's the signing who is probably just out of that realms of possibility of signing? I think Tammy Abraham probably is that player.
I think so, yeah. Because I think if we can be like for example, right, he's at Roma at the minute, right? They're not going to win the league. But they've won the Conference League, didn't they? Hey, listen, I've loved how much them have seemed to have enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Because to me, you should never shit on a competition, especially a European one. Just my opinion.
I agree.
And if we are in the next few years, I'm telling you, I'm listening to players speak now, and that's what they want next year is to be fighting to get into that. Then it's only maybe 1 or 2 years away. If he wants to move back to England, we would be the club, or that. And he wouldn't possibly
I think if next season, let's say if we are lucky enough to get a European spot, okay, where that's obviously what position you need if
seventh
can go down as low as seventh.
Depends on results and stuff like that.
So let's say we'll finish seventh, right, next season. I think that the transfer window after
ambitiously,
I know I'm getting
saying
antsy there.
I think the transfer window after that, you could probably entice those players that are probably
100% opens doors, doesn't it?
I think seventh's attainable. Like,
I'm with Besty,
totally.
I'm not sure. Like,
he's deluded, Mags.
I'm not sure. I'm more still about 10 to 11.
Yeah, I'm 8 to 10, and I'm over the moon with that. Like,
it's only one.
It's a big step up.
It
is. You look at the table.
3 games ago.
I know, but it's.
But then you look at the points difference, that jump to get you to that next level.
I don't think it's up to the top half at least. Isn't that much? 7th is
from where we were. It was tight up until there, but then when you get into that 7-8 top teams, there's a big gap there.
I think. So who's the top 8 teams? Obviously, we're no top 6. 4.
Chelsea, City,
Wolves, and West Ham.
Wolves were just below us. Yeah,
I would say Leicester should have been there as well. Leicester had a pretty poor.
They did
season by their recent standards.
But then when you get to the Arsenal and Spurs positions, there's a big point gap between where you.
Season 11th was it?
Yeah,
11th.
Aye,
because it was like chopped and chip were 10th for a little bit. Then we dropped 11th.
Well, briefly 9th
season. Right. Okay.
Yeah, a bit of merits.
I'm with you.
I'm 7th. Well, 7th favourites for the league next season. That's not exactly a scientific way of looking at it, but
so I'm just gonna
use it as a guide.
If you've got
so we'll go last season's league.
Yeah.
Go to 7th, 8th.
I'm just looking at the points there. So you've got 7th and 8th. So you've got Man United were 6th on 58 points. West Ham 7th on 56. Leicester were 8th on 52. Then you had Brighton, Wolves, and then ourselves.
49.
Sorry, what was it?
49 points.
49 points we were, yeah.
So we're 7 points off West Ham.
Yeah, that's right.
There's no way you're telling me that we could next season not win the first 14 games and not make our 7 points up.
Our form was abnormal for the second half.
It was exceptional the second half of the season. But I still
we won 13 games total. We won 13. In answering the question in that way, I think we'll win more than 13 next season.
I think you could win 15 in a draw, and there's your 7 points.
Yeah,
15 and draw 1 more.
I get what you're saying. Yeah.
And I mean, 7 points doesn't necessarily guarantee you're going to finish 8th because West Ham did good form. But
looking like Villa, for example, Villa finished 14th. I'm not saying they're going to be expecting to be 7th tomorrow, but you'd expect more from them, wouldn't you, surely?
Everton, for example. Villa fans will be saying exactly the same as what we're saying now.
Yeah.
But is that wrong with being ambitious? Villa fans should be saying that. If I was a Villa fan, looking at the signings I've made, Coutinho back in January, the players have brought in.
They've kept them now.
But Carlos, the centre-half that we were looking at in January, there's no reason Villa fans shouldn't be saying how we could finish.
To be fair, Fish and Rods has said to you that you mentioned that our form second half of the season was abnormal at times. He's replied that saying, but our form at the very start of the season was abnormal as well.
I think it will spit over the season. I think 7 points is very, very doable. 7 more points. We're not going to. What were the fourth, fifth best informed team second half of the season? Something like that.
Second. What would it?
I think we're up until that.
We were
Liverpool
just
Man City
behind.
game.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not going to. Well, let's say if we're third or fourth in the form table since Christmas, we're not going to do that all season. We're kind of sustain that. 7th or 8th isn't that? That's a big.
It's not based on the positions last season.
Zega's looking at this league now, thinking, actually, aren't you?
Well, I am. I'm also looking at like what
so tight
Leicester and Brighton. I mean, Brighton are for me.
I think losing Ashworth's going to be a big.
It might be. They're just
Ashworth.
Absolutely amazing though. Like, I mean, they're 9th. They're so consistent, aren't they? From what
they had a
what
very
they
good
are.
season for
They've
them.
got a good manager.
They're really
got a really good manager,
really
Potter.
And I think, like, so then I'll be looking at what you just said there about us. That we're only X away. You know what I mean?
Should be. The thing what they came up with us.
But not everyone can finish 8th, though. So
pardon?
I'm saying not everyone can finish.
Oh, no, but
so someone's going to miss out. You know.
Like, I mean,
yeah.
You could maybe argue Forest, Bournemouth else came up. Fulham should be looking at say like 15th. Anything up to 15th would be good for them. They're still, but like it's so tight there. Palace, us, Southampton, Villa, Leicester, Brighton,
Wolves
should all be saying right. We can and we can.
It's a long shot. And Scott says if Wilson stays fit all season, not even all season, majority of the season, there's no reason that we can't finish in that bracket.
I just think you are all getting well ahead of yourselves here. Like, I know what you're saying on paper. It's only 7 points, but that
I'm not expecting to finish in that position. But I'm not going to sit here and say, "Oh, there's no chance."
I don't think it's unrealistic.
I'm not saying there's no chance. I just don't think it's as easy as you're making out to pick up them 7 points. Which and I know when we say it like that, it's only 7 points, but it's a bigger step than just 7 points for me.
I tell you what, though, it'll be interesting to come when the window's closed, and we'll look at what we've got and what we've brought in.
Yeah,
my opinion may change on that,
and what others
I think
bring in as well.
If we start the season with the squad we've got now, if we started last season with the squad we've got now, so Byrne, Guimaraes, all the lads, Eddie Howen, we get them 7 points. We've got them 7 points already.
I don't doubt that,
but just on this topic,
not say that we don't.
I just don't think we then have this necessarily have the second half of the season
on that topic. Then, just because of that, so just to reword the question, this is so logic-y says, who are we going to compete with in the league for potential signings? Is it the likes of Villa?
Villa at the minute seem to be they're the ones that have kind of, to me, improved the most over the last month. So I have to say there's been no football, but the players have brought in. Look at that.
Villa, Wolves,
that's ambition. That West Ham.
I think West Ham.
I think the teams
possibly Spurs because they don't necessarily have a lot of money to spend.
Spurs, I think I might be.
Do you think we're honestly?
I know that's like a little level above.
Do you think we're competing with those teams that can offer European football? Because I don't think we are. I think that's a huge draw. It's a huge bonus.
Well, we're going for Botman. We're going for Botman, who's Milan Champions League football.
Well, that's why I'm saying Spurs.
Like internal.
Oh, sorry, internal. Although Spurs have got European football, they won't necessarily have a lot of money to spend, so they're going to have to be a little bit.
Who Spurs? Weren't they saying they were going to be behind?
Yeah, they haven't spent.
But it's only 4 days. It's only 4 days. It's only 4 days.
Yeah, we've got that money leverage.
Yeah. Do you think, right, so just to turn around a little bit, do you think, obviously, us as a fan base now, we're thinking, right, we could possibly challenge for that spot, and I'm talking about that last remaining spot for European football. I'm not talking about...
Well, 50% of this table think that.
Yeah.
So you can definitely...
Do you think Everton fans are sat there thinking the same?
100%.
Do you reckon?
I think they should be.
Really?
Yeah. No, I'm not saying they should be. I'm not saying Everton are the 7th best. I think we are far better placed than Everton at the moment. But I don't see why an Everton fan shouldn't be sitting there thinking, right,
when you finish 5th.
I think a lot of the Everton fans will have had a reality check this season.
Mate, they love Lampard.
But a lot of them haven't.
Absolutely. Yeah. A lot of them love Lampard.
A lot of them are still massively deluded.
Ian finished in 7th for you, so...
I think he could possibly be one of the first ones gone.
I think so. I think he's probably... If Everton want to have a reasonable season, I think he's got to be. I think he's a terrible manager.
If they don't start strongly, he'll be gone.
Yeah,
I think so as well.
Yeah.
Any questions that you boys have got before we'll call it a night on this one?
By the time we sit here next Monday, which I won't be here because I'm away.
Just me, you
did he never hear you?
So you want to come down next week?
In fact, I'll miss the next 2 weeks. You know what you say is
What time is that?
Yeah.
Will we have another?
Once a
Because
month.
obviously Target's come to the door. Well, will we have another player through the door come this time next week?
Yes.
Okay. And who do you think that'll be?
This time next week.
Yeah, take it. Yeah. Okay.
I'm
I'll
saying
do
no.
Okay.
I don't think we'll have one by next Monday.
I think we'll get one because I think we'll get a player in that's just finished this European crap that's going on at every
Time
level.
finished. Yeah, we've still got game.
been
Still
awful, hasn't
games
it, as
tomorrow,
well?
isn't it?
Yeah, but
been
this
awful.
time next week we'll be finished.
Nations League.
Nations League.
Oh, got a
And then you've
course
got the
been
youth
terrible.
Oh no,
under
youth
23
ones.
Yeah.
or whatever
Yeah.
it's.
So I think once that's all finished, I think you'll see a bit movement in the transfer window and a player signing before they jet off on holiday for a few weeks.
I think we might get one in before July. So if not this week, next.
I think there'll be one. Bessie?
By this time next week? Nah.
No.
Nah.
I think
I'm not concerned about it. I'm not like.
Oh no, I'm not.
I don't think. I think we're just going to be patient.
I think
But we're definitely finishing 7th.
if you're getting people in by if you're getting people in by mid-July, you've still got enough time to have them in pre-season training and get a few friends.
When's the season
in.
start again? It's earlier this year, isn't it?
6th of August.
6.
Is it a couple of weeks earlier than normal?
A week earlier, I think.
That pause the season from.
Christmas.
Bollocks
November,
that.
isn't it?
It's bollocks that, isn't it?
I don't like it.
No.
Yeah.
Not a fan at
Football
all.
sold its soil to the Gulf states.
Not a fan at all.
Yeah, it's rubbish.
We'll talk about the golf after this if you want. That's been interesting.
Right, thanks everybody who has joined me tonight. There's over 200 years currently watching live. We will be back next week. Well, me and Mark will be back next week. We'll get somebody to join. We don't know who yet, but we'll try and get somebody to join with to make.
Let me know in the
a
comments
trio.
who you'd like to see join us next week, and we'll see if we can make it.
One of them ITK accounts.
yeah.
We'll get one of them in. Thanks everybody. See you later. Watch what you're doing. Become a member. $2.99 a month. Like the video. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks. See you later.
See ya.